What's up, Go community? Chris Owens here. I am delighted to be back on The Gaming Outsider this week, and on this week's episode, I'm filling in for Scott to chat with Zach and CB about video game apparel, why we wear it, and our favorite pieces from our personal wardrobes. In the news, we talk a lot about Nintendo's Mario-themed Direct, and new games discussed include Marvel's Avengers, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, Madden 21, Postal 4 No Regerts, Adventures of Pip, and Road to Guangdong. This is The Gaming Outsider.
Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 311 of Scott Clark and The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Monday, September 7th. I am your temporary host, Zach Parkerson, and joining me this week, CB's here, Chris Behrensmeyer.
Hey, man, what's going on?
I don't know, man, I'm sweating for like an individual in church, a sinner in church, we'll say.
You are very glistening today.
Yeah, man. Scott, he's big shoes to fill.
He does.
And making a grand return is Chris Owens with us this week.
I'm back!
Musically.
Yeah, that just happened. Deal with it.
Okay. Well, somebody's been watching Hamilton.
Not yet. Don't spoil it.
Oh, well. They started America, man. Sorry.
Oh, heck.
Yeah. But as I said, how you guys doing this week?
Not bad.
Fantastique.
All right. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah.
Short and to the point, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We can't run a shoddy operation like when Scott's here.
Whoa!
But he's taking the week off. He's preparing for his first day of school since he's a big teacher extraordinaire.
Big props for being the teacher.
Yeah, that's a risky job riskier job all of a sudden.
Good luck, buddy. For real.
Can't imagine wrangling second graders on Zoom.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like fun at all.
No, but a couple quick notes before you get into things. Our next community game night is Friday, September 25th. It's going to be at 8 Central Standard Time. We're going to get people together. We'll branch off into games. I assume Fall Guys will be involved somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
If Fall Guys is there, I'm there.
Me too.
It's so good.
I might have to make my season debut that night. We'll see what happens.
There you go. Can't not like Fall Guys. And then I guess this is more for you Illinois people, so I don't know if you have any more information about this than I do, because I'm Missouri bound. But this weekend there's a Go meetup happening at the Underground Retrocade in West Dundee, Illinois. CB, do you know anything about this?
Yeah, it's a nice place. We're going to go there and kind of support a kind of local business to us.
This is by far the most organized, clean, beautiful retrocade I've ever seen. And this guy is very. The owner's name escapes me.
Scott.
Scott, thank you. And is very, very meticulous on how the machines are handled. And I haven't seen the terms as far as the quarantine's concerned, but I'm sure there's going to be, some heavy distance action there. So it'll be a safe, fun time, I think.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. Knowing him, he'll have things set up for a good social distancing. So.
Oh yes.
Retro gaming in the time of COVID.
Well, let's see. CB, are you going to go for your Galaga record again?
We'll see. I'm a little rusty. I actually haven't booted up my machine in a couple weeks, so.
Last time I was there, I hit number 8 on the QB score, the number 8 score for Qbert.
Oh.
And I plan to exceed that.
What is your Qbert? Is that a score game? I played Qbert once when I was about 4.
Oh, it's most definitely a score game.
Okay.
I think it was, it's been a while since I looked back at it. I think it was like 120 something, I think. And I just eclipsed I clipped the top 10 when I started losing lives left and right. So I'm like, okay, now just the heck with it. I got the top 10. Let's go. And it ended up being number 8, I think. So, Yay.
Yeah, God, I can't even remember what I set for Galaga that time. I know it was well into 6 figures.
You made the board. I know you made the board.
Oh, yeah.
Like the board. We're not talking the game board here, guys. We're talking like the board, the official board.
What is that? Like a record holder of some kind?
So he uses a site called Aurcade, Aurcade, and it is a kind of like Twin Galaxies board, but not as big. They're kind of a secondary market. But yeah, they track scores worldwide. I'm on there a few times.
Oh.
So I think I'm on there for Dragon Slayer and like Sub Rock 3D.
Are you a big Dragon Slayer guy?
Dude, I love Dragon Slayer.
All right.
He's got a crowd every time he plays it. It's crazy.
Does anybody shout, we got a kill screen, got a kill screen over here?
No, because that one doesn't have a kill screen, unfortunately.
I know, it's just such a landmark moment of King of Kong.
Yeah. Billy Mitchell.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway. Well, that sounds like fun. I'll be far away as always.
I'm going to come kidnap you.
I'm not very good at retro games, to be honest.
They got Mortal Kombat and some middle stuff in there.
I could probably throw down some MK.
They have The Simpsons.
Okay, I beat that when I pumped some quarters into that when I was Chuck E. Cheese as a youth.
Yes, right.
Across from the Rockford Street Station, of course.
That's right.
Yeah.
Home sweet home. What do you say? You guys want to get into the video game news?
Let's do it.
Sure. Let's do it.
Well, this week we had the Nintendo Direct. It was all about the Mario's 35th anniversary. They announced a few different things, such as Mario 3D All-Star Collection, a couple Mario Kart Live weird AR/RC game that looks pretty rad. And then Rocket League is on the precipice of going free to play, which is very exciting. And then this is exciting for me, guys. There's a Shenmue anime coming. Chris Owens. Anything exciting you on this list?
Well, the Shenmue is... Does anybody outside of Zach Parkerson care? Honestly, it's from what I understand, they're basing it all the way back to the 1999 original game.
Yeah.
Which doesn't hold up well. We've got 19 years between sequels, which is usually a bad idea. I haven't played Shenmue 3 yet. Have you guys?
I mean, the issue with Shenmue 3 is that they didn't... That right at the jump, they said they were not going to finish the story, which is equal parts awesome because he's not sacrificing his narrative integrity, but it's also frustrating because I don't think the odds of Shenmue 4 are very good.
Right.
But, as for its popularity, I think it's still the most fun game on Kickstarter ever. I know there was the Suikoden successor was coming up on it. That's going live right now. But otherwise, there are people that played it, but I don't know if there's a market beyond the people who backed it on Kickstarter.
And even that's a limited market in spite of its success, and God bless them for it. But I don't know. Shenmue I played on my Dreamcast, absolutely loved it, played it start to finish, could not put it down. Did not get into 2, was right at the Dreamcast crash. Kind of forgot about it when 3 came out and just now reminded me about it, to tell you the truth. So I don't know, it kind of falls through the cracks for me.
Well, with it becoming an anime, which, I mean, I always appreciate when they try to do this because it does bring people who've never played the series into it. My biggest question is the voice acting not going to line up with the mouth moving?
I demand poor voice acting.
Exactly. It wouldn't be the series without it.
I mean, even I admit I have not played my Kickstarter backed copy of Shenmue 3 because I feel like I'm waiting for some ritualistic moment in my life that'll be appropriate. And also,
I think this is your sign, Zach.
Well, and then part of me is like, you know what? I probably got another 20 years till Shenmue 4 anyway, so I don't really need to rush. But they did bring back the terrible voice acting for that game. I would hope they keep the tradition well and alive. Yeah, because you're right. It's a different beast it would be a different beast with quality acting involved.
Well, and that's the thing is, if you're gonna make an anime for a video game series that's known, world renownedly known for the terrible voice acting,
right?
I feel like you have to put it in there. It maybe not for all the characters, but some of them just have to have a complete flat delivery and be like, "Hi, oh wow, we are in the middle of a battle."
And you also need an entire episode where Ryo shops for Zippos.
Okay,
or looks for guys in suits.
Well, yes,
and asks every person on the street,
"Do you know where I can find some sailors around here?" That classic.
Okay, one more thought on that. Are we going to have the bad voice acting anime style or bad voice acting Shenmue style? Or it's got to be a balance of both?
It's got to be Shenmue style, and you got to end every episode with Landy. But I'm tentatively excited for a Shenmue anime because it could get more eyeballs in the franchise. And, what if it's popular? Maybe we'll actually see the ending of a Shenmue story.
I hope it does well. It just for me personally, it's kind of like, okay, next.
I'm gonna laugh. It does so well that they just like, oh man, we gotta get 4 done now.
I was gonna say it's weird to I guess Game of Thrones did this, but it's weird to adapt an anime that is not you're adapting a storyline is nowhere near completion.
Yeah,
that's an interesting choice.
It is.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
What about you, CB? Anything tripping your trigger?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to talk about this Nintendo Direct thing,
which was a fun watch. I'll admit
it was. I mean, there's a lot of fun things in this. I will admit, I've pre-ordered a couple of the items.
No surprise there.
Yeah, well, my big takeaway is the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection. They openly announced that this is going to have like a limited pressing. So they're not making a ton of copies. It's only going to be available for a certain amount of time.
Which is complete crap.
Yes, it is. But not only physically is it going to be available for a certain amount of time, digitally as well.
Right. So there's no real reason to do that at all, other than trying to bring the Disney Vault into the video game realm for people old enough to remember the Disney Vault.
Yes, I do, sadly.
I mean, they're essentially trying to force sales, which from a company standpoint, I can understand. From a fan standpoint, it really irritates me.
Yes.
And especially when you're trying to get some of these younger people into these games.
Right. That's what's frustrating. Like, what if a kid's birthday is in April and they get the Switch and now they can't play Mario, Odyssey, or not Odyssey, Galaxy.
Oh, you better hope that your parents went out and bought a physical copy.
It's absurd. It's just a dick move. And only Nintendo could get away with it too.
Yes. My other big takeaway from this is, for it being a collection / remaster, why do the graphics look so bad? Couldn't they have given me a little bit of a polish on this?
It's a pretty obviously a bare minimum port situation.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that I'm going to have to stare at horrendous polygons on a Switch. I mean, at least knowing full well, though, that the controls are going to be updated for a couple of these games makes me happy, because some of them are downright unplayable anymore.
Right, or in Galaxy, you don't need to use motion controls, right?
Yes.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, so that is a huge bonus. My other big takeaway is the Mario Kart Live home circuit.
Real quick, before we get in that, the 3D collection's a game short.
Yeah.
It's missing, in my opinion, the best Mario game, Galaxy 2. What the?
Yeah.
Does this not scream, hey, next year we're going to do a different 3D All-Stars collection and all you suckers are going to buy it again?
Well, here's a bigger question. Where's Paper Mario?
Well, that's a different genre, though.
Understandable, but it had that forced 3D perspective.
Yeah. I'm sure maybe that'll be their fall game, like a Mario RPG collection.
Ooh, throw the original RPG, Paper Mario, and Thousand Year Door.
That'd be it. Or even, and then also throw in Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and baby, you got a collection going.
Yeah, I mean that I'd drop on that too.
Yeah, I'd be a sucker.
So,
I'm sure I'll buy this and I'll be annoyed with myself the whole time.
Yeah, probably will be.
Yes.
I mean, we're also getting the Super Mario All-Stars for Super Nintendo, 3D World and Bowser's Fury port for Switch. But then we get into like the weird things. Super Mario 35, which is going to be kind of like Tetris 99, but 35 Marios competing against one another. So
I was just thinking the other day, Mario needs a battle royale.
Yeah, so it's a battle royale / Mario Party on crack.
I mean, it sounds much like Tetris 99. It sounds like a game I'll have a lot of fun with for a week and then move on.
Yeah, probably. But I think the two biggest, well, other than the 3D collection, the Mario Kart Live home circuit, man, Nintendo just keeps wanting to like push the bounds with peripherals. Because now they're going to be like, we're going to make an RC car that pairs with your Switch. at first I was like, "There's no way this can be a thing," and then I watched the trailer and I'm like, "This looks amazing."
Yeah, if I had a nice big old house, that thing would be insane.
Yeah, and I can't tell, but looking from the trailer, it looks like So, for those that haven't seen the trailer, first off, it comes with a cart. There's like a Mario one and a Luigi one. And you will play a live-action Mario Kart through your Switch, which has a camera on top of these carts that you drive around. And then it has the gates, which to me looks like a continuation of the Nintendo Labo thing, because they look like they're made out of cardboard. So is this like the next step for the Labo thing? But what really makes me curious is the camera on this thing has to be amazing, because there's a QR scan, like a QR code on the gates. So if you're racing through, it has to be able to see this thing and understand it, transmit it to the Switch, all live time, like very fast.
It sounds like it's expensive is what it sounds like.
Yeah, this thing's either going to be expensive or it's not going to work very well.
Huh. Are you going to get one anyway?
Probably.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Yeah, but the other item is another piece of hardware. It's a Game & Watch Super Mario Brothers. So the original like little Game & Watches are coming out with a new one. It's going to be $49.99, but it has yet to be approved by the FCC, so they can't put it up for pre-order sales yet.
That's I mean, that's weird, but you're going to be there anyway. Minute one.
I love me some Game & Watch handhelds. I have two. I think they're adorable.
I play with some. My grandpa's got a few as well. They're pretty neat. They're pretty neat little trinkets.
Yeah, the precursor to the Game Boy.
Yeah. Owens, is any of this doing anything for you?
You know, I've been ripping on these reboots and rehashes since the day of this reboot inception of this particular podcast. And I was not impressed with, like CB said, about how these graphics aren't exactly an improvement. But I did enjoy Galaxy very much. I actually enjoyed Sunshine. I know it gets a bad rap. And who did enjoy 64? So sadly, I am without a Switch. But if I was, I would pick it up. I would be excited to get back in this again.
You're gonna have to pick it up either way, man. You don't want to miss out on.
Oh no, it's
forever.
Limited edition style. You bet.
So I'm just mad at myself because I know I'm going to buy it because I want to play these games, and I just know they're going to do a Galaxy 2 version in a few years when they have another quarter with no major releases and they got to drum up some cash quick.
Yeah, this really does kind of feel like Nintendo's like, well, we have nothing on the horizon. Hey, let's go grab some ports real quick.
Yeah, of some stuff we know everyone will buy, right? And the fact that the cutoff is 3/31, the end of a fiscal quarter.
Oh,
yeah, it's pretty clear what's going on here.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll do this for Zelda at some point? Probably, right?
Oh,
it has to be. It would have to be.
Man, the last time we got a Zelda collection was GameCube.
Right. That was a sick collection.
Yeah.
Technically, would you call that a collection? Are we talking about the same thing?
It
was Ocarina and then the Ocarina Hard, the Master Quest. Yeah.
Well, there was Ocarina, Majora's Mask, the original Zelda 1 and 2.
Right. Those are two different products you guys are talking about. There was one disc that was Ocarina of Time / Master's Quest, and then wasn't there an anniversary collection where they had like Zelda, Zelda 2, Link to the Past, Majora's Mask, Ocarina?
I don't know if it had Link to the Past.
Yeah, actually, now that I say it out loud, that doesn't sound right either. But I know they definitely had Zelda, Zelda 2, Ocarina, Majora, right?
Yeah, because it was 4 games on the one.
And wasn't it a GameStop exclusive or something? Or like a pre-order incentive for Twilight Princess?
I think it was.
Yeah.
And yeah,
that's such a better package than here's a skin for Captain America.
Yeah.
That's what we get these days.
Oh god, the good old days of pre-order bonuses.
I mean, even a t-shirt
they were actually
went a long
good.
Way.
Yeah. Now it's like a poster, a pin, or a skin.
Every time my first thought after seeing this collection announced was Metroid Prime is probably sitting in a corner somewhere crying. Metroid Prime 4 is allegedly coming out, and you still can't play those games.
That's been alleged for like 4 years now.
I know. I feel like you hear about it every time Nintendo speaks, or someone's in the corner going, Metroid Prime.
When does Pro 4 come out?
I don't know. Didn't they announce it when they announced the Switch?
Yeah, I could swear though that we got a semi-solid release date on it, and my guess is like the time that's going to come out, the quarter before is when you're going to see the Prime Trilogy remake.
Yeah, and that checks out. But didn't they just rebooted it or restarted development about a year ago, didn't they? With Retro,
Yeah,
because the original developer wasn't up to snuff in Nintendo's eyes.
Yeah. Well, Metroid seems to be that bastard child of Nintendo. Just never seems to get any traction or ground.
Well, it's because we all know Metroid, but they never seem to sell.
Yeah.
Not the way Nintendo wants their games to sell anyway. But hey,
sad.
Super Mario 3D World, that means only Star Fox Zero is like the last Wii U game anybody cares about that isn't on Switch.
True.
So, now that they're out of other options. All right, guys, well, that wraps up news. I guess we'll, so you want to take care of some housekeeping before we jump into the games we've been playing?
Yeah. So as everybody knows, we are an independently funded podcast, which means we must pay for podcast hosting services, website, all of that on our own, which is why we have a Patreon page where fans can contribute monthly to help offset the costs of production, as well as allow us to help give back to the community. If you'd like to help you can do so at patreon.com/thegocast. No new Patreons this month. But Patreons do start at a $3 a month level to get some bonus episodes. As far as newer episodes that we have our Drunken Game Trivia with myself and Jordan Derringer High, and a spoiler cast of Ghost of Tsushima with Zach and Nate Wilcox.
Spencer Cushing was on that episode as well.
Aw, little Spency.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the game. Man, I got to listen to this Drunken Game Trivia. Find out who I'll be challenging someday in the near future.
Yeah, bring it. You got to find out. You got to listen, man. It was actually a really good episode. So
I don't doubt it. You were on it, CB, so it had to be good.
Oh, well, thank you. Also coming up, we have a Break the Seal on Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Who the hell hasn't played Tony Hawk?
Oh, that would be Scott Clark.
What?
Whoa.
That can't be right.
Yeah, I was just as surprised by that one as you are.
How do you host a video game podcast and not have ever played a Tony Hawk game?
Well, he's not into like the whole trick motion button combo type stuff, which everyone else in the world is. So,
I mean, he was alive during the craze, you know? That would be like saying you've never played a Call of Duty. Like, you had to have played one by accident.
Yeah. Man, like all those, it was because it was Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Then like 10 years later, Shaun White came out like a snowboarding game.
Oh, yeah.
Man, you just beat me to it. Yeah.
Oh, he did a skateboarding game too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh my God. Yeah, where you like brought color back to the streets of New York.
Yeah, I remember seeing in my mind, I'm picturing the cover of it.
Yeah, that was an Ubisoft game, as I recall.
Man, that's crazy.
Well, anyway,
those games.
I guess let's. Sorry, I didn't mean to completely derail the housekeeping. I was just, how do you not play Tony Hawk?
I know. We'll have to yell at him later.
I mean, Tony Hawk's Underground is so good. Well, anyway, let's talk.
We digress.
Let's jump into the games we've been playing. Right up top, games. They're still coming out, man. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning is a re-release of the Kurt Schilling-funded RPG where R.A. Salvatore wrote the lore and the story. Todd McFarlane did the art. The guy I can never remember the name of, who was the gameplay director of Oblivion and Skyrim, was involved. This game was an all-star cast, and it's finally getting a second chance on September 8th on modern consoles. They're doing new DLC for it next year.
Nice.
Which is
I'm all for it.
I'm pretty excited about this re-release. Will I play it? I doubt it. Necromunda Underhive Wars is a tactical strategy role-playing game based on the pen and paper board game or pen and paper game of the same name. Coming to PS4, Xbox One, PC, September 8th. Star Renegades is a really cool-looking pixelated game that really caught my eye. Coming to PC, September 8th. The expansion pack that nobody asked for, The Sims 4 Star Wars Journey to Batuu game pack, coming to PC, PS4, and Xbox One, September 8th, actually. And The Outer Worlds gets its first DLC with Peril on Gorgon, PS4, Xbox One, PC, September 9th. Bounty Battle, which is a crazy-looking game. It's a bunch of indie characters in a Smash Brothers kind of game. Like a platform fighter. All beating the sound of each other.
That could be kind of interesting.
It's got like the guy from Guacamelee fighting a knight from Darkest Dungeon.
Now, to see the guy from Guacamelee, I'd pick it up just for that. That's
and you can see him fight the Hyper Light Drifter if you want to.
Nice.
So strange. But that's finally coming out on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC September 10th. Mo Astray looked like another one of those hit Metroidvanias coming to Switch September 10th. And then Inertial Drift is coming to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC September 11th. That is a racing game all about drifting. Owens, are you looking forward to any of these games?
Nothing's really jumping out. I mean, of course, the name would escape me again. The other fighter I want to see is not Ori, but you know what I'm talking about, the Blind Forest, Will of the Wisps. What's that character's name?
Isn't it just Ori?
I thought Ori was the caregiver, not the spirit.
I think
Ori's the spirit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Ori is the spirit?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I thought it was something else, but to see Ori and those those midair kung fu moves, in that would be cool.
Ori would be overpowered.
You think?
Yeah, it wouldn't be fair.
Powered or powering?
That'd be absurd.
Okay. Just leave it there.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like Kino's Vomiler, I really, really want to play this game because I feel like I played like 40 hours of it on PS3, and then I want to say my save crashed or something like that. Something stopped me, and that is a kind of game that you need an excuse to jump back into. This might be it for me.
I had the same problem. I was so hyped for this game when it first came out, played it for a long time, and then the game glitched on me.
Yeah. So hopefully that's cleaned up.
Yeah. So I'm actually picking this up tomorrow.
That's cool, man. I mean, yeah, let me know how it is.
I will.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, Avengers. That's the one we're going to talk about this week.
Yeah.
But my concern is, Chris Owens, have you played this game?
Negative, Ghost Rider. My pattern's been full.
So this might be a very quiet time of the show for you.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack here.
It's the longest review I've written for the site.
Really?
My written reviews of this game. Which is funny because I ended up giving it a 6.5, which I guess spoilers for how I feel about it. But it's such a hard game to talk about.
No, it really isn't, because I have many things to say about this game.
All right.
First off, we've been talking about this game for a while, and I know one of the things that you and I have both harped on was the character models. They're not that bad.
No, yeah, I never harped about them.
We did early on with that first showing. With the straw hair Thor.
I want to go. Well, Thor looked awful. I want to go to the tape though. I'm pretty sure I was on the side of course they look bad or they look different.
Yeah.
I mean, I was never a fan of Captain America. Looked like he was wearing SWAT gear, and that from those first trailer that was awful. But otherwise, I mean,
I was very on the fence about this game. I played it. I enjoy the story.
Yes. So right up top, I'll say the campaign in this game I think is great.
Yes.
It's about 12 to 15 hours, which we talked about the other week is the perfect length. And it's just, my only problem with it is very clearly the first act of a story.
First act would be putting it mildly.
It is. I mean, I can't spoil much, but little about the world is affected by the time you are done. Because they can't have it be because they want you to play this game for years to come.
Yes.
So it is a Miss Marvel story, and the Avengers are happening around her.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. The more I play this, the more I wanted the side missions to keep going. Like where you play as the other characters.
Right, like going for their iconic costumes and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% done with this game. Like I've still got a few things to tie up, but even then I still want to continue because they have some of my favorite character costumes.
Yes.
Like the emerald armor for Iron Man.
I very badly want a World War Hulk's costume for Hulk. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and the original Sin Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
Looks pretty glorious.
It's not you have to beat his challenge card to get that, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be a while.
Yeah, that'll take a couple months.
But as far as the meat and potatoes of this game, this combat is abysmal.
It's not good, man.
No, it's
not.
awful.
It is it's about as deep as an old school beat 'em up.
No, because I would give more old school beat 'em ups more credit. I mean, I granted there are some creative liberties taken with a lot of these characters. There's a lot of little things in this that I love, like the fact that if you throw Thor's hammer at somebody, you can pin somebody to the ground with it.
Yes.
And they will stay stuck until you pick the hammer up, whether they are alive or not.
And I appreciate there is a dedicated, like the left trigger is the recall button for Mjolnir. That's super cool. Because you can do it at your own discretion.
But my biggest problem with this is you're playing as the Avengers, and for some reason they seem to have forgotten all their moves.
Yes. Oh, that's a great point. Man, I was actually impressed with the fact that I cared about the skill tree, so that kind of distracted me from the fact that, yeah, it makes no sense. It's my God of War problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with God of War, I understood that he abandoned his life.
Uh-huh.
And everything, and so he has to relearn everything because he's using an axe rather than other things. The Blades of Chaos. But when you have people that are like active characters, like throughout the story, and for some reason it's like, oh well, yeah, I guess I just forgot how to throw my shield. I got to relearn how I did do this.
Yeah, I mean. That is a weird hang-up that you have to accept. You also have to accept the fact that Thor is a literal god, but has to hit machines 16 times before they'll break.
Yeah.
Which is a little absurd as well.
The power curve is also pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, because they want to funnel you into the games as a service so hard that there's so many things they can't do with the story.
Yes. Well, as new characters are introduced to your team, because I played as Miss Marvel forever, so I think by the time I got some of the other characters, like I was a lot higher level. So it's like, oh, cool. Hulk's gonna bomb around with Miss Marvel. She can kick the crap out of everything. Hulk can't even dent a door.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so bad. Like, why? They could have done this so differently. Like, instead of giving me a stupid skill tree, give me the ability to become, like, stronger. Like, I still have all my moves, but I can just become stronger.
Right. Well, you think the gear would come into play with that, but it doesn't, because the gear in this game is useless.
Yeah.
The gear serves no function. Not only is it ridiculous in context of the narrative, like your issues with the skill tree, because you have to change out the Hulk's rib cage to increase his defense, which is preposterous. And not only that, but you do it 20 times a day apparently. And then, yes. But it's also just you're cycling through it so quickly that it just doesn't matter. And they really want you to you can level up your individual pieces of gear. I'm like, why would I do that? That is a complete waste of resources, of time, of that piece of gear. There's no reason to engage with the gear system at all. Maybe at the end game when you're all capped out and you got to, be powerful enough for a raid or whatever. But even then it would just be a means to an end because you have to do it. It's just not, it's not engaging, it's not fun, and it just gets in the way.
Not to mention, if you don't swap out your gear, you get an annoying message every 30 seconds. Yes. You have higher gear available. You have higher gear available.
which is frustrating in the campaign because you get sucked into the story, right? You want to see what Miss Marvel is going to be up to next, and the game just it has to keep reminding you that there's a live service game. It's a multiplayer game. Even when you're in the throes of the single player story, it keeps throwing a lot of annoying messages at you.
This to me feels like a reskin Destiny.
Yes, even the menus are just Destiny.
Yes,
it's absurd. And in the mission structure for all the multiplayer portions are go to here, click on this computer console or break this item, and then a wave of enemies will spawn. You'll walk to the other side of the room, do the same thing. A wave of enemies will spawn. You'll go to an elevator. It'll take you to the next area where you do the same thing, much like Launch Destiny.
Yes. I want to like this game, man. I really do. But there's so many things that I feel like I can wait till some of this stuff gets patched out.
Well, I mean, speaking of patches, man, this game is the buggiest game I've ever played. This is the buggiest game I've played this console generation.
Not for me. I can think of some more.
For me, I my experience, like I've had characters just disappear through the floor every time I try to Mjolnir would get lost every now and again when I was playing as Thor, which is not good because you need that. Or worse, it would just turn invisible, so I couldn't keep track of it, but you could still like throw it. Just the model would vanish, which is highly irritating. I would get trapped in load screens that went on for infinity. I had on a few occasions Kamala lost her hair in cutscenes.
So the only glitches I ran into playing this entire game was I did have one problem with Black Widow's hair.
Oh, okay.
The like outline shading just turned black, and so like I had a wireframe of her hair and her hair disappeared.
Weird.
So that was pretty odd to see during a cutscene. And then I had the game like just slow down incredibly during the final fight twice. Beyond that, I had no other issues.
I mean, I think the frame rate in this game is garbage. And that is not something I normally notice.
Especially coming from Square Enix.
Yeah, coming from Crystal Dynamics, man. They made those Tomb Raider reboots are technical marvels. Like Rise of the Tomb Raider especially, that's still a gorgeous game and it runs like butter, and this is not that.
No. I'm actually saying it right here. I'm willing to bet this is going to be $39.99 by Black Friday.
There's an impressive amount of people saying they don't want to buy it for $60. I think it feels like a $60 game to me, I guess. Just for the I don't know.
It would feel like a $60 game to me if I didn't have to be constantly berated by microtransactions.
Yeah, they want $20 for a skin.
Yes. Which is horrifying.
That is grotesque. And for me, I keep trying to sum it up as it's a tale of two games. Because if you take out the gear system and you just do that campaign, I think it's an excellent game. But you add on all these stuff, like the game wraps up, and it immediately wants you to jump into the multiplayer, which is okay because the multiplayer, which is called Avengers Initiative here, it does have more story, which is cool. But to get to that story, you do have to go through very grindy missions, and I'm trying because I want to see more of it, even if I'm still dealing with the same threats you deal with during the campaign. I'm trying not to spoil anything. And
yeah, you're doing a good job of not spoiling.
I'm trying to dance around it, but it's just I appreciate that there's so much story in the multiplayer, but I don't know if it's enough to like. I don't know. I want to stick with it and see how the game evolves and see if they can deliver this promise, because they're saying they're going to do, like a piece of story every month, and if they can do that, that's super cool. And I've talked about on the show before. I have this dream of a superhero video game that just gets a monthly story, much like a comic book, because it's such a perfect translation for it.
How much did you play Spider-Man?
What do you mean? I played Spider like 100 plus hours?
No. In this game, because don't you get Spider-Man?
Oh, because I'm playing on PlayStation. He's not out yet.
Oh,
and
okay.
That'll be a weird, frustrating situation in itself. Another piece of the gross marketing around the game. Yeah. I just it's so weird. I love the game. I hate the game. I want to keep playing the game. I don't want to ever play the game again. I'm so conflicted on this game, but I do think it's going to be the first games as a service where I try to stick with it because I'm interested in its future. And the game is so annoyingly aggressive about reminding you that it has a future that it's kind of hard not to think about the future.
Yeah, I mean, 3 post-credit scenes.
Well, I feel like every 10 minutes they're setting something up. They're like, oh, where's Nick Fury, I wonder? You know, like, or, oh, you know, that guy got away. Be ashamed to see him again. Wink.
Or the constant reminders that Hawkeye isn't there.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Hawkeye has a room on the helicarrier.
Yep.
Like they do a good job reminding you, like, hey, Hawkeye's going to add to this game.
That is actually my biggest disappointment about this game.
No Hawkeye?
Is the helicarrier.
Well, why?
Because helicarriers are huge.
Yeah, I guess.
And the area that you play in is not huge.
Yeah, you have about a third of a helicarrier, probably.
I wouldn't even give it a fifth.
I'll say I like the helicarrier. I like it. It feels a little like home. They're running out of rooms fast for Avengers though, so maybe you'll get more helicarrier to.
Did you see the one that just says crew?
Yeah, that's so sad. I bet it will eventually say, you know, like T'Challa or something.
Yeah. Or they're just gonna they'll add more rooms onto the back end of the hangar.
I assume that'll happen.
Yeah.
For me, I want to see the future of the game unfold, but as it stands, it's just so. It really feels like Crystal Dynamics was making just an Avengers storyline, and then Square Enix came in. They're like, "Oh no, it's got to be for years." They're like, "Well, we already built this like 12-hour campaign." They're like, "Figure it out, man. We want this to be a loot game now. That's what people are into."
Yeah,
it feels like a game stitched on top of the corpse of another game.
Yeah, I could completely agree with that. I would recommend this game to people if you're a huge comic book nerd like Zach and I are. But if you're on the fence, honestly, just wait, because you're going to find this game on the secondhand market real quick, real fast.
Yeah, I don't think there's getting around that. When it's because it has it has these challenge cards with weekly and daily challenges, and you unlock cosmetics throughout, which is very clearly based on Fortnite's season pass or their season content model. So it is constantly reminding you of all the trappings of a free-to-play game, but it really kind of irks you when you just paid $60 for it.
Also, I don't need 6 types of currency.
No, you do not. It's just like a mobile game.
God, please, for the love of God, if any developers are listening to this, stop doing that. I don't need 6 types of currency to manage. It's stupid. It's unneeded.
It is unnecessary. So yeah, the game's heavily monetized. I don't know, man. It's an intriguing beast to me. If it didn't have the Marvel license, I would not care about this game at all. I do know that. But because it is and exists in that world, and I feel like I'm one of the 6 people in the world who actually likes the Inhumans. So I'm kind of hoping to see Black Bolt, Medusa, and that whole crew. That would be really cool.
I'm actually surprised that none of them made an appearance.
Yes, I agree, because I'm sure you have read it, CB, that how Miss Marvel gets her powers in the comics is a direct result of it is similar to what happens in this game, where the A-Day explosion sets off something in the world, but in the comics it is a very direct result of Black Bolt's actions, the King of the Inhumans. So the whole game I was waiting for that twist.
That's why I said there was some heavily taken creative liberties here.
Yes, I'm still hoping, because you can't make those Inhumans show up after the Terrigen Mist. It would just be goofy. So they have to already exist.
Yes.
So I don't know. Now we're just in a comic book tangent.
Yep.
I'm intrigued to see how the game goes. As I've said, 12 times now. It's just.
We'll talk more off air, because I've got some things I want to talk to you about.
It is. Yeah, like you said, I want to love this game so bad, and it just won't let me. It sucks.
Stop punching me in the face.
But hey, that's Avengers. Thanks, Square Enix, for the code. I'm sure they're going to love this segment. But hey, Owen, do you actually want to jump in and maybe talk on the show?
It was starting to hurt the way you guys were talking about it, so I'm really sour on that myself.
It hurts.
Oh,
hey, you know
man.
what? They're as somebody who's noted for not liking the MCU, I think that these characters more closely resemble the comic books, and that was very exciting to me.
Way down on positive notes, Zach.
Yeah, thank you. The story is very good. I think the campaign is very good.
You really do grow to love Miss Marvel.
Yes, which is because I've read her original comic run, and I was like, oh, it was a cute little, she's basically like Spider-Man, likes, I don't know, she's a regular kid doing their thing. But this game really takes it up a notch with Kamala Khan.
Yes.
Hey, CB.
Yeah.
You rolled with another, speaking of retro reboots and things we talked about earlier, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 on Xbox One.
Yeah. Buy this game. Buy this game now.
And that's a great review. Thank you, CB.
I'm getting whiplash after that Avengers conversation.
Man, this is reboots done right. Like, everything about this game, because Zach talked earlier, like we grew up in an era where like Tony Hawk and the X Games, like all that was new and fun. This brings so much of that back to the forefront and just ticks everything that I love with these types of games. I mean, the fact that they've done like almost picture perfect, built the entire levels from the original games. And then there's some new stuff that's added in as well. Bringing back like all these characters, well, not characters, but like athletes to play as, Tony Hawk, Bob Burnquist, Bucky Lasek. The music in this game is amazing. It's definitely got that like 90s punk feel.
I was reminiscing and just thinking about how the old games the functionality was great of the controllers, but the graphics did not hold up, in my opinion. How has that changed to this updated version?
The graphics are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
They're so beautiful. I never thought that, because I remember when they announced this game, I was like, there's no way this game could look that good for being a $40 game. It does. Mm-hmm. It handles so cleanly. I remember playing on the original ones, like every now and then things would get a little buggy and glitchy. No, not at all. The controls are tight. Everything plays the way I want it to. And even like the old arcade mode style where it's like you have 2 minutes, like here's a list of objectives, go. Like find skate. Like because they spell out skate and you have to find the letters throughout the map. Like grind 5 lunch tables. Find the hidden tapes. Like
I love playing those modes.
Oh my god, it's so fun. And I remember seeing Zach tweeted. He's like, "Oh man, I wish I had more money for this."
It's killing me.
Dude, you really need to get this game.
Everybody's talking about this game. It is eating me alive that I'm not playing
it. Man, this I didn't think that this game would be this good in this era. It is. It really is. Like if there's anybody on the fence about this game, do yourself a favor. Spend the $40. Buy this game. You're gonna have so much fun. My son is even playing this, and for somebody who grew up on these games, like seeing him play these and having fun playing it, just man, it really like tugs on my heartstrings. So,
well, we all know that these style of games unfortunately had a pretty rough and sour run for quite some time. And so does this make you kind of forget about that? Is this like a good, not just a reboot, for a restart for this type of game genre?
I feel that it is kind of a restart. I mean, when you think about it, Tony Hawk 1, 2, and 3, the Matt Hoffman and the Kelly Slater one were really good. It was like the Shaun White's one that wasn't as good. 4 still had a little bit of the 3 feel to it, but then like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 was just not good. Because I've played all of them.
Oh crap! Sorry, I just remember Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 existed.
Yeah, That's how bad it was.
Oh,
Did you throw up in your mouth a little bit?
So awful.
Yeah. This will take all those bad memories away.
Let's go, because they had the audacity to put a 5 on there, man. That's not. Ugh. Sorry.
Yeah. That game shouldn't have been a Tony Hawk game. It should have been something else. But this really makes me believe that these kind of games have a future.
Wow.
I mean, it does feel a bit like a complete reboot, but it really does give me hope that the arcade sports style games have a future.
Let me ask you this: are you long Combo Man?
No, I'm so rusty because I have not played this style of game in so long that I legitimately thought it was just like rose-colored glasses. Like, oh, look, my childhood's back. No, like I'm legitimately having fun with this. Like now that I've finished Avengers campaign, I went back to this immediately today, started playing it again. I'm getting better. I mean, I'm just waiting. Like I'm hoping, because I haven't looked into it as much, but that there's like the cheat codes that were in the original that you could do like all this dumb, stupid things and have fun with. Like turn on low grav or like big head.
I used to have those. Oh my god.
That was so much fun. I'm legitimately just having so much fun. Like this game may or may not already have a lock spot in my top 10 for the year.
That's bold.
Yeah. Like that's how much fun I'm having with this.
Wow.
So I mean it's not going to be top 5, but it's definitely currently sitting in my top 10.
If doesn't it feel weird on your list when it's a remake? You're like, can I put it that high?
Yeah. I mean, well, this has been the year because we've got Tony Hawk 1 and 2, Resident Evil 3, Final Fantasy 7, Kingdoms of Amalur.
Well, FF7, that's its own beast, but
The year of the remake.
yeah, I'm sure that'll only get increased.
Yeah.
So obviously you'd recommend this title.
Highly.
And check out my GoFundMe to get Zach a copy of Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah. Way to self-plug and plug a game at the same time. That's impressive. So that's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 for PS4, Xbox One, brought to us by Epic Games and Activision. CB, obviously had fun with it, but thank you for checking it out.
Well, have you been having fun with Madden NFL 2021?
Fun? Ish.
Ooh.
Guys, let's just get right into this. I mean, Madden 21, we all know it's been around for 30 plus years. It's the only sim football game on the market right now, really. And that's the end of my review. Thanks.
Whoa.
Wow. Hey, man, considering this might be the only football you get all year, you might want to...
Maybe so, but I did this exact same review last year. If you want me to review this game, listen to my review 1 year ago. Well, not 1 year ago today, but 1 year ago, and reference, I forget which episode number it was. But guys, it's the same freaking game, okay? The franchise mode is 100% no changes. Everything is exactly the same, and the same annoying tutorials that you can't turn off. It's painful how much of the same it is.
So they've literally added nothing new.
Well, they've added a couple of new things. One thing that's actually is pretty cool is a game mode called the Yard, where it's literally back in the day when we were kids and we had backyard football, and it was like a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi after you snap the ball to sack the quarterback, and you're actually blocked from sacking the quarterback one-on-one. And it's crazy, like 3 or 4 zip routes, to the outside, back to the inside, and circle back to the outside. So that's actually a fun mode, and they made the playbook creative enough that if it has the feel of like being in a backyard game.
That's cool. Is it worth $60? Cool. I don't know about that.
Not even close. 30 would be a push, to be honest with you. I will give one other positive thing is that the right stick controls when you can juke and hit stick and do all that, they've actually expanded upon that with other positions in the game. I play the defensive line a lot when I play the game, and instead of jumping right off the snap and hitting a button trying to get back by the defender, now you actually have a little bit of strategy with the right stick. Like you can measure up your offensive lineman to see if he's going to be weak on his left side or strong on his right side, and you have a move to counterbalance that, are you just going to run him over, or are you going to swim him over? And so right on the snap, you're kind of making that chess move of that flick of the right stick to see if you can get past the defender. And you either did a really good job and you're marked green, or you're completely stopped and you're hit red. But you could try another move right off the bat. But by that time, the ball is out. But there's real strategy, and there's a little more fixed, quick, but clean timing as far as how you're making a move with the right stick. So that is an improvement from last year.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Are there fans in the stands?
They are
masks?
boisterous. They are boisterous, and it's kind of funny because when you play the season opener of the franchise, Brandon Gaudin, along with Charles Davis, he puts out there to say, the much needed distraction that we need. So obviously they made a comment of the world situation with COVID-19 and how we all kind of needed this game, which in the spot it is. But the things I don't need, guys, are glitches. I don't need glitches in Madden. This is the glitchiest Madden I've ever played.
Not a good year for glitches either.
No, not at all. You got eyes bugging out of the players' heads. You have them doing ball situation celebrations when there is no ball. I had the entire screen go white after a replay. And I was playing the next play I did in a negative, if you know what I mean.
Do you think because of COVID, we're all the playtesters now?
Yeah.
It's starting to feel that way, right?
Well, I don't want to say the term I'd like to think that that's the case is strange, but again, I don't want to make it a scapegoat, because I think in this entertainment realm as others, I would hope that there's a little more concentration in the overall statute getting it right, because we're all home, because we're all kind of bound to our homesteads, and just not to get too complicated on that, so that they would have a little more, have them cleaner. This feels like it was rushed. It feels like it was lazy, because like I said, so much of it is repetitive. Face of the franchise is back again with a completely ludicrous story, and the gameplay of the story and the story itself have nothing to do with each other. You could throw 5 interceptions or 8 touchdowns in a game between scenarios, and the scenario is exactly the same moving on. But if they're going to cookie cut it, basically, I want it cleaner, and this was completely dirty.
Well, so I know you and I have talked about this before, but with the fact that so many of these games are almost carbon copies of the previous year, you begin to wonder like how much of the coding was just copied from last year.
You know, I had that exact same thought, CB, and it made me sick.
And
it really did. That's lazy. That's lazy programming.
Well,
it used to be the marvel of every 2 or 3 years, Madden, and obviously this was jumping newer platforms, newer technology, but play calling was getting better. It was 11 on 11 right from the start. And players started looking better, and routes were more real, and they added features. There has not been a big feature add to this game as far as gameplay is concerned, and I don't remember how long.
Well, where I was kind of going with that is like you talked about how they improved the right stick. I mean the stick some. So when you copy and paste like old code and then add in some of that new stuff, we all know that sometimes it makes interesting glitches, because if you look at the last 3 or 4 years of Madden, there's been a huge increase in glitches, to the fact that like there's like YouTube compilations of like the crazy things that people have seen happen, which seems to be like a growing trend for certain sports games. So I'm just wondering, like, if I was the NFL, like I would be pissed that these games are becoming more and more buggy and glitchy.
Well, I hope they are. I hope they are pissed, because this is they're obviously a huge part of this product. They've had an exclusive deal with EA for going on 14, 15 years maybe. And so they're doing the NFL a disservice with this kind of product, and this year was the tip of the bad iceberg.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're recommending that.
Not for a full $60. You're not going to get anything new that you didn't get last year. The Yard is a nice game, but you can put that on arcade for $20. Put that on Game Pass. Just call it Madden NFL The Yard. Have a $15-$20 game, and you're just getting the rest of it like you did for last year. Not worth it.
So just roster update your Madden NFL 20, everyone.
Yeah, pretty much. I was 6 years into a bunch of fake players because all my current players were tired, and I'm having more fun with that than I am with this year.
There you go.
All right. Well, before we move on, we got a couple pre-recorded reviews here, and that'll actually have Scott Clark, if you remember who he is anymore. He's talking about Postal 4 No Regerts with Spencer. And we'll talk about Road to Guangdong with Alyssa, and then Adventures of Pip with Rel. You can listen to those right now.
Well, hello there, Spencer. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. How are you, Scott?
I'm doing okay, living the dream. You were here to talk to us about a game that you've been playing called Postal 4 No Regerts. And I had to look a couple times to make sure that was not a typo. It is actually No Regerts.
It is
not
no regrets.
Yeah. This one comes from developer Running with Scissors and Other Pointy-like Objects. That's a little Muppet Treasure Island reference there for you. And we got to give a shout out to Stride PR for hooking you up with a review copy of this one. So talk to me about this one, because I'll be the first to admit I have never played the Postal series. I feel like it was more of a PC-centric series along the way, but I could be wrong. All I know is that it was highly controversial, and the fourth one is coming out, and I'm hearing good things about it. So what is the Postal game, or games?
I've never played any Postal game either. This will be my first one, and after starting this game, I really want to go back and play the other ones. And you are right; it's not really for the faint of heart. It's a very unpolitically correct game, I guess so to say. There's a lot of bad things with this game. For example,
bad things. What do you mean?
There's a lot of cursing in there. There's a lot of blood and guts and gore, and a lot of things you don't really want to see, like bestiality is in this game somehow.
Oh my goodness! Okay.
At one point you're shooting immigrants across the border to save their lives.
Oh wow! To save their lives.
Yeah, drones are like picking them up after you slingshot them over the border, and you got. It's really weird. And they also, I guess they had a new update recently. Everyone's wearing a mask, just like in real life, which I think is funny. And they also have a virus, but it's not called the coronavirus. It's called the Pajonavirus.
The Pajonavirus.
Yes.
I like it.
And I didn't understand that, and I actually had to look up what they meant. But it's just a pigeon virus. But they just called it Pajonavirus to kind of match the coronavirus types, name.
With the bird flu.
Yeah, pretty much. So this game is, like I said, very, it's not politically correct. There is a poster in there as well, that's of Joe Exotic, but they call it Joe Erotic. It's really weird, man.
I still haven't watched Tiger King. I need to go back and finish that at some point.
Yeah, it's funny. But, so you play the Postal dude is what your name is. And you have a dog named Champ, and you have to go around and, so let me.
It's a shooter, first-person shooter, right?
Yeah, but you not just shooting. You also have you can have a bat. I have a shovel that I was cutting people's heads off with it. I had a baton that electrocuting one. There was a shotgun. I had Molotov cocktails, grenades. I mean, I can keep naming off a bunch of things, but to narrow it down, it's someone steals your vehicle and camper at the beginning of the game, so you have to go find a job to make some money and maybe hopefully find the person who stole your stuff. So there's a few first jobs that you have to get. One job is where you go and work in the jailhouse, and you accidentally punch in the wrong code and it opens up everybody's jail cell. So you have to go into these security terminals and relock them up. Well, along the way you have to go and kill these inmates. So what's the point of me going and locking these guys back up when I'm already going to kill them? You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then there's another job where you're an animal catcher, but you don't. This is where the bestiality type thing comes in too.
All right, be careful. It's a family-friendly show.
I know. I'm treading very lightly here, but you get the cats and dogs, and it's not only is they're doing those things, they are also going to eat them.
Okay.
But you don't know that until he says, "Oh, meat's on the menu again." The guy actually says that.
Wow.
And then there's another job, like I said, where you're slingshotting some immigrants across the border, and you have to watch out for border patrol. If they catch you, they shoot at you, and you got to shoot back, and they're at far distance, so it's very hard to shoot them. All in all, I haven't gotten too far into the game, but it's humorous. There's a lot of humor in this game. There's a lot of stupidity in this game. There are a few glitches here and there, which I'm trying to work out, and I've jumped onto, I've sent the developers an email about it, I think once, about one of the glitches that I noticed. So hopefully that gets fixed at some point. Maybe
we should tell everybody that this game is still in early access.
Yes.
So it's not.
And they want our opinion, they want our take on it. So that's why I email them like, hey, this is a great game. But
cool. We're short on time here. Last thing I want to ask you is, how is the gameplay? Is it fun to play?
It's very fun to play. Before you ask me if I'm going to recommend it, I do recommend it, but only for 18 and older. Obviously, because it's not politically correct, and there's a lot of things that I don't think kids should hear right off the bat. So, yes, the gameplay is amazing.
Sounds good. One more time, that is Postal 4, No Regerts from Running with Scissors. Spencer, thanks so much for stopping by to talk to us about it.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, we'll catch you later.
All right, see ya.
Well, hey there, Alyssa. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing, Scott?
I'm doing great. You're here to talk to us about an interesting-looking game called Road to Guangdong. Did I pronounce that correctly?
I believe you did.
Okay. It's interesting. You've kind of become our guru when it comes to dating games and text adventure games, and this seemed to fit right into your wheelhouse a little bit, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much a dating game, but it is very much a narratively driven game.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting because I see lots of games. I mean, I'm thinking of like Final Fantasy 15 where you had like a buddy road trip.
Oh yeah, that was great.
This is kind of like a family road trip, it looked like.
It is. You have a goal of taking your guma, which is your grandma, to different family members, and you're trying to convince them all to come to a family reunion and also give you recipes for the restaurant you just inherited.
Okay, that's so you just kind of touching base with family. Is there an end goal, or is it just straight the journey here?
Your end goal is to get every family member to come to the reunion and to give you a recipe, but you can really screw things up.
Okay, how so?
You can just make them mad, and they won't give you a recipe, and they'll say, "I'm not coming to the reunion because you're a bad example."
So how difficult are these choices? I mean, are they pretty cut and dried, like a good choice or a bad choice, or are they very gray area?
Some are pretty cut and dry, but there were a couple of instances where I really didn't know which choice was the best choice to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it follows, Chinese culture very closely with that, because I feel like to really get which choice is the best, you need to know the culture a little bit more, because to me they both sounded like good options for the scenarios I encountered, but I made the wrong choice a couple of times.
I've been there, trust me. In your review, which people can read on thegamingoutsiders.com, you talked quite a bit about how you had to keep doing maintenance on the car, and that was not enjoyable for you. Can you talk about that?
Oh yeah. You inherit a car also who is named Sandy, and she was your Guma and Grandpa's car, and you just constantly have to stop at either the side of the road or gas stations and fill her up with petrol, check her oil levels, make sure the fan belt's okay, the engine's okay, and that just really takes away from the peaceful, calming vibe the game seems to be going for, because you're constantly having to monitor your stats, and you can't really go over 40 miles an hour or your engine will just blow up, basically.
Over 40 miles an hour?
Yeah, so it's a very slow game.
Okay. But despite these hiccups that you're talking about, it sounds like you still really recommend it.
I do. If you're really into story, it's really worth your time, because getting to know each of the family members is a really unique experience. And they all have different dilemmas you need to either help solve or just kind of mediate a little bit. And that's what really makes the game worth it. The driving sections and the maintenance sections aren't my cup of tea, but I really enjoyed getting to know each family member.
Very cool. Again, the game is called Road to Guangdong. This one comes from Excalibur Games and Just Add Oil. And we got to give a shout out to Press Engine for hooking you up with a review copy on that one. Alyssa, as always, thank you so much for stopping by and for reviewing this game for us.
Well, thank you for having me and for providing a review code.
Not a problem. You have a good one, okay?
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, hello there again, Rel. How you doing, man?
I'd be doing a lot better if there weren't still smoke in the sky.
I feel you, man. I was just talking to Wayne from the Packers Fan Podcast, and he said there was a fire down the street, and people hours away are getting ash in their cars. Is just insane to me.
Yeah, it's worse because apparently the entire state is on fire.
It's just insane. I thought we had it bad out here. You guys have really lived it. But on to more positive things. You've been playing a game for us called Adventures of Pip. You're playing this on Nintendo Switch. It is would you call it a port? This is a Switch port?
Yeah, certainly. It originally came out for, I think it was like PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 and the Wii U. I think it was also on PC.
Mm-hmm. And this one comes from TikTok Games and was provided to us by Stride PR. So thank you guys for hooking us up with that copy. I'm really intrigued by this. I was genuinely a little jealous that you got to review this one because I had never even heard of this until we got the press release about it. This looks like a game that looks like a ton of fun to play.
It's kind of a mixed bag.
Okay.
The concept behind it is really cool.
Yeah.
And actually, you never heard of it. I remember seeing this game in what I thought, or what I think now is kind of like the beginning of the golden age of the indie developer. This was back when things like Super Meat Boy and Shovel Knight were coming out. Just these games that would kind of herald in this golden age of indie titles. So Adventures of Pip was one of those because it takes this really interesting concept where you play as Pip, this 1-bit character. Like he's literally just a monocolor red square, right? And he lives.
Yeah, reminds me of Thomas Was Alone a little bit, where you play as a rectangle.
Yeah, except with Thomas Was Alone, you also get to play with different shapes and you use those to complete puzzles.
Right.
In this case, you're like a 1-bit character in a kingdom where your status is determined by the number of pixels that you have. So like 8-bit people are a tier above the 1-bitters, and 16-bit are above those. Then the really high-res 32-bit folks are the royalty.
Oh, okay. So it even goes further. But I see in the trailer, it looked like it just went from like the 1-bit to the 8-bit to the 16-bit. I did not know it went beyond 16-bit.
So for Pip, who is, our stalwart hero, that's how the gameplay works. You gradually unlock the ability to evolve from the 1-bit cube into an 8-bit hero who can punch and wall jump, and then into a 32-bit hero who has a sword, down slash, he can break blocks, push heavy things, and that's one of the biggest mechanics in the game, because you not only can evolve yourself by killing these special enemies that are strategically placed throughout each level, but you can also devolve yourself, right? So you don't just evolve into the hero. It's not like Altered Beast, where your ultimate goal is to become the highest grade or the highest level form. You have to go to 8-bit, go to 32-bit to deal with a particular problem, and then devolve back to 8-bit, maybe back to 1-bit, in order to do different things. Because each form...
So it's kind of like a Metroid aspect of that, where you need a certain ability to get through a certain area or defeat a certain enemy?
Sort of. Well, because that's the thing. With Metroid, the power-ups were permanent. In this case, you're basically picking the right form to do the job. One of the biggest mechanics that it uses this for is weight. Like the 1-bit cube, it doesn't weigh very much. So, like for instance, you shoot up in water, whereas the 8-bit form can swim. 32-bit form just sinks. And so it uses those mechanics to good effect. In the puzzles of the game, the problem that I had with it is that, it wasn't anything special. Like the platforming is not really remarkable. Probably some of the interesting parts of a particular level might be where you have to jump onto the special enemy in order to evolve and hit a block in midair, or jump, hit special enemy to evolve, devolve in order to break something, because devolving as well sends out this burst of energy that breaks these glowing blocks, and use that in order to progress. When you run into things like that, it's pretty good. It's challenging, but it feels really inconsistent. Like the level design, the level design in a lot of places could have used some polish.
Okay.
Certain mechanics kind of don't make sense. Like in each level, you can rescue 3 villagers that were, kidnapped by the big bad. And if you rescue those villagers and then you die, from falling into a pit or lava or whatever, they stay rescued, right? You don't have to rescue them again after you respawn at the checkpoint. But any chests that you find that, contain currency, do respawn, meaning you have to get them again. And because a lot of them are in optional areas that are kind of hidden, then that just adds an extra layer of frustration onto the game that I don't think needed to be there.
Gotcha.
So it really did feel inconsistent in its design. I think overall it was a fair challenge in some parts, really easy in others, and then just obnoxiously frustrating in a few parts.
Huh.
Like those unfortunately are the ones that really stood out to me in my mind.
That's unfortunate. I got to question one more thing about the evolving and devolving. When you're because again, this is a 2D, platforming action type game. But when you evolve or devolve, does the world around you also evolve or devolve, or just the character and the world stays the same?
No, it's just you. Like I said, you might have to, for example, devolve in order to get through narrow spaces, the cube, and then evolve in the next screen in order to wall jump, and then evolve again in order to break some blocks. But the world around you stays the same.
Okay. So do you recommend people check this one out, or maybe go in the past and play it back on the 360?
Considering it's so old and you're likely to get it for a better price on the PC, and the fact that it's relatively short, it has about, I think 40-ish levels. It's like 8 or so levels per world, and there's 5 worlds. It's like $15 on the Switch. Like, you might be better off looking for it on PC. You're likely going to be able to find it for a sale, and it's going to be a much better value. And like you said, this is a 2D game. It's not super intensive. If you don't normally play PC games, if you have a crap computer, you should be able to run it. Okay.
I mean, I know you said a lot of negative things. I'm still kind of intrigued by the concept. It's crazy to me that a game that looks like that is that difficult. I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't call it difficult. Like I said, its biggest sin is simply that it is uneven.
Mm-hmm.
Because even in like the third world, I would encounter levels that were maybe a minute, 2 minutes long and weren't terribly difficult. And then the very next level would have like a section or two that was frustratingly difficult, and the rest was pretty fair. So, like I said, the biggest sin is just that it's a little bit unbalanced in terms of its design.
Okay.
Is it a bad game? No, it is not a bad game. But it's not one that's really going to stand out.
That makes sense.
I would say, other than for its concept. The concept is still pretty unique, but in terms of like the actual gameplay, it's kind of forgettable.
Now, I know, I don't know if this will change how you feel about it in your recommendation, but I did double check and look it up. It is actually $10 on Switch. It's
$10 is not bad. Mm-hmm. $10 is fine. I mean, like I said, if you can find it for cheaper on PC, go for it. I wouldn't not recommend it by any stretch. I think it's certainly worth the price of admission alone just for the concept. It is pretty cool. So $10 is fine. If you have a Switch, you want a decent indie title, go for it.
All right, and I know you've got a video review coming out for that in the near future. Where can people check that out?
They can find it when it goes live on an indeterminate date. It's going to be in the very near future, though. On youtube.com/relplays. That's RELLE plays.
All right, sounds good, Rel. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm sure those are all fascinating. Hey, you guys catching up anything exciting?
My wife and I are kind of getting into some role playing a little bit.
Yeah,
we're chefs in a crazy cooking world, and we've put those skills into Overcooked 2. We finished the original Overcooked. It only took us a couple weeks to do it, and we 3-starred most of the levels, and my wife loves it. So she is begging me on a daily basis to play video games.
Oh boy, what a risque Overcooked 2 you guys are good now.
Yes. Oh, it's a lot of fun. We're enjoying it very much, and the mechanics they've improved quite a bit from the first one. So we're pounding through it, and she can't stop. I have to stop her. It's that intense, and it's a good time, and we're really enjoying it.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't have the patience to play these kind of games with people.
Scott, yeah, he's not here, so I'm going to rip on him. That he said the exact same thing. He's like, he doesn't have the patience, and I'm like, just talk to your partner. I mean, yes, you're going to get irritated, but you just kind of get in the flow, and things work out. It's good stuff. It's a lot of fun when it's very frustrating when it doesn't work out. Yes, but it's very, very euphoric when it does.
Yeah, euphoric, huh? Little euphoria in the kitchen.
Nah.
Well, guys, we got some more housekeeping. Not a whole lot. CB, you want to take care of that for us?
As far as new Facebook members, we have one new one this week, Zumawa. I'm not quite sure if I'm saying that right, but I took a stab at it. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you can join it at facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. We have lots of interesting and fun conversations that go on there, as well as you get to see a lot of, some of our 3D prints that Nate and I put up on every now and then. As far as Discord, we have a wonderful Discord community, very hopping in there. We do have one new member, Stefan Rombing. So you can find the link to our Discord on our Facebook, not just our Facebook page, but also our website, thegamingoutsider.com. No new iTunes reviews this week. I would greatly appreciate it. I know Scott, Zach, and everybody from our team would appreciate it if you could drop one on there on Apple Podcasts. It does help us get our name out there. As far as written reviews, we have Zach's apparently newest, longest review he's written for Marvel Avengers, and also Desperados 3 from Thomas.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's jump into it from the outside in topic then. All right, guys. For this week, from the outside in topic, we are talking about video game apparel. Pretty safe assumption that if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have a t-shirt, hat, jacket, something with your favorite video game series or developer. So we're going to discuss why we love to show off our gaming apparel. So I assume you guys have some stuff with gaming logos on it. So why do you wear that stuff?
Surprisingly, I have next to nothing.
That feels
That is shocking. I just realized that.
Well,
I
mean, you have an actual video game museum in your basement, so it's kind of hard to believe.
So my video game apparel boils down to like some Midwest Gaming Classic t-shirts and a hat from 3DO.
And some
That's
Gaming
about it.
Outsider stuff, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I have some of that too.
Our bowling shirts rule.
Yes, I
Yes,
love
they
that
do.
thing.
I love video game apparel. It's just something that whenever I see it in a store, it's like, oh, well, the t-shirt or the video game. I'm gonna buy the video game, man. Granted, I would love to own many, many video game t-shirts. I just don't have any at the moment, surprisingly.
Wow, I am quite shocked to hear this.
Me too. When Scott posted this topic, I was just like, well, I wonder what I own, and I'm like, I surprisingly don't own anything really.
Huh. Wow. What about you, Owens? Do you own anything? Or, I mean, why do you wear your gamer stuff?
Well, it's not something I ever thought about, but back in 01 or 02, and I would dip in a Hot Topic every now and again. There was one t-shirt that I had to pick up. It was an old baseball crew, and it had an old Nintendo controller on it. It says, "Know Your Roots." And I was like, yes, this is like I'm re-embracing my gaming nerdiness. And I grabbed it and I wore it around my college campus, and people were like, yeah, man. No, not really. But no, I do not know where that t-shirt is today, but I loved it. Of course I got my Go gear just like everybody else here. And I kind of share Scott's feelings on this. He was kind enough to leave a note for us about his gear. And he says most of his t-shirts are somehow gaming related. He has a ton of Zelda apparel for obvious reasons. He goes on to say that mostly I love to share with the world that I love something as much as I do. When I grew up, it definitely wasn't, quote, cool to love gaming. But nowadays, it's a bit more expected. I also love wearing logos of games that I love and running into people who share my affinity for gaming. It's often a conversation starter. And I love meeting new friends who adore my hobby as much as I do. And I don't have a developer that I sponsor, I guess. I don't want to say sponsor, but that I play up with my apparel. If it looks cool, I'll wear it. That's kind of my thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess for me, it is a little bit, I guess, of you want to see if somebody recognizes it, but it's just to me like, you know, you love something, so you wear it, right? I don't buy a lot of gaming t-shirts anymore. I think the last one I bought was for Nier Automata, Take a Shot. And
boom.
I like that shirt because that game became popular out of nowhere. You know, it was a sequel to a completely derided video game. So it was kind of fun wearing that when the game was coming out, because people on the streets of Chicago would kind of like stop you, give you a little head nod kind of thing. So like that, you know, that was cool. But otherwise, I mean, I do have some stuff from back in the day that I absolutely adore, but I don't really get it a lot anymore. For me, I've kind of converted the money I would spend on, like, you know, getting cool Mass Effect sweater or something, and I just I want tattoos now. So I guess, but we'll talk about that a little bit more shortly.
Ooh.
Now, I just realized as we were talking about this, I don't own a lot of video game t-shirts and things, but I have a very extensive collection of band t-shirts.
Yeah.
Like, ridiculous. My wife actually gave me a hard time about it when we were talking about this earlier. Majority of my wardrobe is t-shirts, and I'd say 75% of them are band t-shirts.
Yeah, I had a lot of superhero shirts, some Star Wars shirts. But for me, I don't know what changed when I was like 27, 26, but I mostly just wear buttoned shirts now, which it's kind of hard to find nerdy buttoned shirts.
Was that around the same time you started working at a coffee shop?
No. That's cute though. No, I did have a pretty awesome small business shop that let me wear whatever I want. So I wear like Bloodborne shirts into work and stuff. And that was pretty cool. But that was a lifetime ago now.
Yeah.
God damn.
Man, I'm gonna have to find some video game shirts now.
Buy one before Friday. Gotta sport your gear, man.
I know.
Yeah,
it bothers me.
You know what? I would love a Respawn Entertainment shirt, because I've really attached to them in recent years.
I'm sure it's out there. I have no doubt.
I would think so. If Vince Zampella, if you're listening to this podcast, shoot me a shirt. You guys are the best in the biz. Well,
I do have one interesting comment though, that was made by Matt Ebert. He did say absolutely nerd to the core. His new favorite piece is a raid jacket from Destiny. Now, if I could find stuff like that I could add to my video game collection, yes, I would gladly own it.
Yeah, that would be. I do like jackets.
Yeah,
I've got 15 jackets. I love jackets. But hey, you know what, Matt, talking about favorite pieces, what are some of your guys' favorite pieces of gaming clothing that you own or love to wear?
Well, as far as me, my 3DO developer hat. It's a terrible system, but man, when I actually got my hands on that thing, I went nuts because it actually came from one of the people that worked for 3DO.
Whoa, that's cool.
Jumping jacks and cartwheels.
Yeah, I love that stupid hat. But Sean Coates, he actually wanted to let us know that pretty much his entire wardrobe consists of nothing but video game or geeky graphic tees. but his favorite piece is his Doom-themed ugly Christmas sweater. I'd be down for that.
I mean,
I'm wondering what that looks like.
Post a
Well,
Sean,
he
please post a
posted-
picture.
he posted a picture on the Facebook page.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
I missed it. I'm
I'm
sorry.
not on Facebook.
Yeah, I know, it's a shame.
Sean, shoot me a
I'll-
DM on Discord, man.
I'll send you a picture of it a little bit later.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I love. See, I can appreciate other people's stuff. Like, I will admit, when it comes to stuff I wear, sometimes I'm a little body conscious because I'm a big boy. So sometimes finding really cool stuff is hard. But man, for people out there, like, I can appreciate what other people wear. So that's why, like, if I do have video game related stuff, it's usually like a hat.
I mean,
So,
hats are easy.
yeah, hats go on heads.
Man, I used to wear hats all the time.
I don't think I can ever picture you wearing a hat.
Which is funny because I used to exclusively, like, when Born Ultimatum came out, I had our theater got like set hats, like the hats you would wear on set.
Okay.
I gave them to all the employees because we won some stupid ticket selling contest or whatever. So I had a Born Ultimatum hat and I wore that for like every day for like a half decade. So I used to wear hats, is what I'm saying. But I don't know.
With that wonderful hair that you have, I just can't picture it.
Yeah, man, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden I got like I was like, I gotta start wearing button shirts and I gotta start doing my hair. I don't know what happened to me, but
You became an adult.
it is unfortunate sometimes. I think in a combination of becoming an adult and getting a little a little more weight on you. So I'm like, I don't know about these t-shirts anymore, a little too form fitting for me.
Yeah.
But I'll wear a t-shirt to bed. I wear like a Flash shirt to bed, or I have a pod racing shirt that I love to wear.
I don't ever want to picture you in bed, Parkerson.
It could be
Actually,
fun.
you know what? I actually do own something that's video game related. That's apparel. My Doomslayer helmet.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it's nice. It's practical. You can wear that to Target.
Yeah. You know, in today's world, it is a face covering.
I do remember putting it on last year. It smelled oddly of beef and cheese.
It's very specific.
Yes.
What a hurting insult.
So what about
come
you,
on.
Owens?
Well, I enjoy beef and cheese, and it was an elf reference. Come on, work with me here. I'd say my best piece of apparel is you guys have seen my Raccoon Mario t-shirt. And it's kind of got the old style, like the paint's chipping off of it, so it's like supposed to look kind of ragged, but on purpose. And it says made in the 80s. And I think I spotted it on some random advertisement t-shirt site, and I picked it up because it looks so cool. And I still sport that when I'm going out gaming and stuff. So I love that one. CJ Moore happened to be rocking his Halo 2 t-shirt when he put his post out there and said that's his go-to for the moment. But he echoed our sentiments earlier, saying that he likes to keep a good amount of video game / pop culture / sports apparel items. He enjoys wearing them because he wants to let other people know, and more importantly, remind himself that he doesn't like to take things too seriously. And when you come across another fellow fanboy, it makes for instant camaraderie. And I'll spot that too. If I see anything gaming related on somebody, I'll just kind of point it out, and we'll get into like a quick 30-second thing about, oh, this is good, oh, you like that, that kind of, to drum that up is a lot of fun.
Yeah, the camaraderie is cool. Yeah, especially if it's like a deeper cut reference, like to some lesser note. Like if it's not Mario or Zelda, it'd be pretty cool.
Absolutely.
But Zelda's like the basic white girl of video games memorabilia. No offense, Scott. I just feel like,
yeah, I love that one.
I just I don't know. I feel like I see more Hylie and Crest tattoos than anything else in the world. But that's okay. It's popular for a reason.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and wear a Catherine t-shirt.
I used to sleep with a Catherine pillow.
I could see that.
Yeah, I do like anime girls.
Right.
I do. Yeah, look, I'm honest on this show about my proclivities. As for me, I think my favorite piece of video game apparel would be my Dead Space jacket. It is it has I Clark written across where like a nameplate would be, and it says Concordance Extraction Corporation, which is the company he was an engineer for on the jacket, and then on the back it has that health bar,
Oh,
but it's at full health, and
does it light up at all?
it does not. It is bright, and I appreciate that when they were selling it, there were two versions. There was either full health or critical health. So that was a nice touch. It's a really cool piece of merch. You know, I got a Bloodborne shirt that I really like. It's kind of like a fine art piece. But then, you know, I just way too much to make it work right now. We'll blame it on COVID. I really adore this Max Payne 2 shirt that I got. I literally do not remember how I got it, but I do know I've never worn it.
Why?
Because it's the only piece of Max Payne merchandise I've ever really found. And Max Payne 2 is one of my favorite games ever, and it's just, I don't know. It's I'm almost afraid to wear it. It's really bizarre, but it's, you know, I have it.
I will say I've never seen a Max Payne 2 t-shirt. I have seen Max Payne 3 ones.
Yeah, there's something about Max Payne 2. Well, part of it was Max Payne 2 was a complete commercial failure. Right, like 3 months after that game came out, GameStop was selling it for $1.99 brand new. So I'm sure that's part of it. I don't know. So I guess that's some of my favorites. But for me, you know what, man, I've transitioned into tattoos. And let me, Sai Quinones said, probably 90% of my pictures, I usually have a shirt or a hat on from Overwatch. Even got this Mercy tattoo on my neck. I'm obsessed with the game and love representing my passion for it through apparel or showing off the colors of my favorite pro team, Go Dynasty. It's always great finding another person wearing anything from the game. You just give each other that nod of respect. And then on a similar note, Nasty Nate said, I have 2 gaming tattoos, Bowser's logo and the Hollow Knight shade. As far as shirts go, I have 1 or 2 Nintendo shirts I wear every so often. For me, I only have 2 tattoos, but I love them to death. I got a Tomb Raider tattoo on my left arm, and I have a First Nier tattoo on my right forearm. And that is, you know, those are 2 games very personal to me. And the Nier one, especially because it is my entire forearm, that is a conversation starter all the time. And, you know, it's safe to say most gamers know what Automata is, but not a lot of gamers know about the First Nier. So it kind of like starts a, you know, conversation where I get to educate, like kind of help people know that there was a first game. And I can always say like, oh yeah, it's like, it's such a good story. It's about an old man, a gay skeleton, a hermaphroditic woman, and a talking book who try to save a little girl, but instead destroy the world. And then it always gets a little reaction from people, and that's fun.
Yeah, I could see that. See, like I'm envious because like I want to start getting some tattoos. Like I think you and I've talked about it before as well. Like because I actually want to get one whole arm done, like a sleeve with retro like arcade stuff, like Centipede.
Yeah, that would be very cool.
But I'm just like so nervous to sink that kind of money into my arm.
It's a commitment, and it is money, and it will change the way people look at you. Like they will assume a certain aspect. Like it will assume certain things about your personality based on the fact that you have a big tattoo like that.
True.
But the next one I'm designing, I'm going to use my left forearm for a Fallen Order tattoo. I'm working on a design for that. That'll be my next one. But yeah, I would like all my tattoos to be video game related, so they got to put out a Green Lantern game at some point so I can get a Green Lantern tattoo.
Well, they did. They did
a good one.
Green Lantern. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's clarify
a
that.
non-Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern video game. No, I do want to get a. At some point in my life, I'll get a Mythosaur skull and a Green Lantern tattoo, and those will be my non-gamer tattoos.
Well, I mean, technically, a Mythosaur is in video games.
Yeah.
You have Star Wars. You have Bounty Hunter,
Which
man.
is a great game. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. There's so many tattoos. Tattoos are awesome, man. It takes something you already feel so personally passionate about and makes it even more personal.
Yeah, man. Like, see, but like even my wife wants me to get tattoos.
Oh yeah.
Which, yep.
Yeah.
I just,
I don't like needles.
Oh, needles
Just put
don't
it out
bother
there.
me. Needles don't bother me none.
Well, you're an EMT, of course it doesn't. But my wife said, "I hate when you get a tattoo. Get a tattoo." I just can't get over that fact, and I'll call me what you want, but that's just my vice.
I would love to lie to you in some way and be like, "Oh, it's not really like a needle, but it is just you're getting stabbed by a needle about 1 million times."
Yeah.
So if you don't like those, that's That would be a rough
That's
day.
a no-no. Mm-hmm.
Just hours of it.
And that's see, like I said, needles don't bother me, but when you're talking like a full sleeve, like that is a time commitment.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd have to get that would be a process. That would not be done in a day.
Oh, come on, let's do it just one day.
Oh my god.
Go full bore.
Hope you're not a bleeder. That'd be bad.
Generally, no, I'm not.
Well, good.
You guys have fun with that.
Tell you what, Zach. Next time you're in town, we'll go get one together.
I would love to get a tattoo at Rockford prices.
I'd imagine that it's pretty bad down there.
Well, Chicago prices were Chicago prices are ridiculous because it's Chicago, but Kansas City it's the fourth highest tattoo parlor per population ratio in the world.
Wow.
So the market here is way the hell overpriced. So it's hard to stomach the idea of getting a tattoo here. So yeah, I would love to get a tattoo in Rockford. That'd be a great day to get that Mythosaur skull. Because I don't need a good artist for that. Just someone to copy it. And we should offer to pay Scott to get a Zelda tattoo. So that way he can't say no.
Yeah. We could make that happen.
We'll tell them the audience wants it.
Yeah. He's not gonna listen to this.
Let's get a GoFundMe going for the GoCo to have Scott get a tattoo.
Yeah, a huge back tattoo. Of just the Triforce. Or we just get him drunk and get a Triforce on his butt.
See, he would get nervous because he'd be like, "Oh, you guys are gonna put something on my back. I'm not gonna be able to see it." He's like, "What are you guys gonna put there?"
No, we're not like that.
I mean, I might put a big Zelda tat, not the Triforce, but like an actual full picture of Zelda.
Oh, his wife would not be happy with us.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, I mean, I think that about does it on the old video game apparel chat, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Perfect. Well, you know what? That also does it for the show. We don't know what next week's topic is, but we do still have the phone number if you guys want to try calling in at 347-746-2278 or 3477-GoCast. But that'll do it for this episode of the Gaming Outsider, which I have to call because Scott Clark's not here, so we're just the also-rans. But CB, thanks for being here. You got any parting words?
Let's see. I finished Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah, I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, I started binge watching as soon as we got done recording last week, and I finished it the next day.
I watched all of season 1 in a sitting, and then I started to do the thing where I was like, man, when I run out, I'm out. So now I'm pacing myself on season 2.
Yeah, I kind of want more now. Because I finished that, and then I immediately finished The Umbrella Academy Season 2.
Oh. I'll try it one day, maybe. I won't. That's a lie. I'll never
it's
try
really
it.
good.
There's too much stuff I'm more interested in out there.
Well, now I'm plowing through Lucifer, so.
Okay. DC. It's Sandman adjacent. Lucifer.
Yes, it is.
What about you, Owens? Any parting words?
I was 2 episodes short of Cobra Kai's run when I was watching on YouTube. So I get to watch it again on Netflix, and I'm very excited about that. So I'll blast through that, I'm sure. It was just nice to hang with you guys this week and be able to talk about games and stuff. It's good to be back in the fold.
Yeah, it was great hearing from you again.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Missed you.
Miss you, buddy.
Thank you, guys. That means a lot. It really does.
Miss your passionate fire about remakes or reboots.
Don't stoke it again, man. It's gonna go, man. It's gonna go.
The port machine that is the Nintendo Switch. As for me, I continue to barrel through the next generation. Q is awesome.
Yeah, told you.
And Picard, I love the death.
What? How far in are you?
I'm only.
Have you made it to season 2 yet?
No, I'm not on season 2 yet.
Oh.
Which I hear is when it gets good. But I'm having fun so far. It's a great show when you're tired to just throw on.
Yeah.
I miss like the Monster of the Week format.
It does that so very well.
Yeah, you do not get that anymore.
No, you really don't. Like not even in like a lot of the CW shows.
No, yeah. You are correct. Batwoman's very much like a story. But anyway, thanks so much for listening. Gaming Outsider is produced by Nate Lucas, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. Not Metal. You can find him at stemmagemusic.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Zach Parkerson with Chris Berensmeyer and Chris Owens, and we are The Gaming Outsider. Remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.